discussing earlier this issue of continuation of treatment for the opiate addicted that are involved in methadone or Suboxone treatment. Some years ago, there was state regulation that prohibited people from being able to be in two levels of care at the same time. So in other words, if a person was on methadone in outpatient and was addicted to alcohol, they would have to come off the methadone, go to alcohol treatment. And of course that never worked. It was not efficacious at all for the patient. That legislation was changed, and now a person can be maintained on a opiate treatment program and get higher levels of specialty care. Scenario would be person is involved in outpatient methadone treatment, making some progress, but pick up a second addiction, perhaps to alcohol. The therapist can contact the insurance company and can have that person transferred to an alcohol detox unit where they will be maintained on the methadone and get the alcoholism specialty treatment. And at that point, at the completion of detox, they would then get transferred to perhaps an inpatient residential program for a number of days. And at completion of all that, they would then return to their home program. And part of the concept of this is that in opiate treatment here in Philadelphia, that everybody involved in treatment has a home program. So as you access resources, that program is ultimately responsible for that person when they complete their specialty care. This is also the basis by which we do our jail-based treatment. A person who is, I guess historically, if they were on opiate treatment and they ended up getting locked up in the county jail, here in America that would be county prison, that would incarcerate a person up to 24 months. They would have to withdraw from the methadone, and at that point would be incarcerated, and then at that point when they release, they'd have to try and access treatment again. The model we use now is the same idea of the home program. My program has a section that provides prison-based opiate treatment. In other words, we actually, for any of the people that are enrolled in opiate treatment here in Philadelphia, they get incarcerated at the county prison. We provide counseling, medication, and medical services for them while they're locked up. At the release from jail, they get to return to their home program. We help them do that through case management and something called bridge dosing. Same idea, that a person has a home program that's responsible for managing their overall care. I think you'll find in your interviews throughout America that that's a fairly uncommon practice. But here it's really working well. In fact, we presented this model at the National Conference of Opiate Treatment, WCOAAOD. And I'm sure there were people there from Wales and other places in Europe, because there's a whole European section about the idea, very well received. That was when the conference was in New York 18 months ago. What we found was a lot of questions about how you structure prison-based treatment and this idea of home programs. A home program, I think, is one of the biggest advances we have in treatment anywhere, because it really reduces people slipping between cracks of service. It provides the basis for a continuation of treatment. In Philadelphia, it wasn't just like a wonderful idea to create this model. There were people that were on methadone that got incarcerated without their treatment, and of course they began to suffer acute medical withdrawal. They also are subject to greater rates of psychiatric symptoms, including suicidality. There was indeed a lawsuit and a court ruling that said that the lack of treatment for these individuals was cruel and unusual punishment, and that was the impetus to start treatment. When we started this program, it was originally detox only, but my belief is that detox is really only the gateway to treatment. That was proven in this prison environment, because the people that would be detoxed in there would end up hitting the street and relapse at a rate of about 100%. So the program has evolved now into an actual treatment program in prison, which provides up to 2 years of methadone treatment while a person is incarcerated at the jail. We find that recidivism rates for these individuals, which from a funding point of view is a key issue, are greatly diminished, greatly reduced with this model. And what happens, of course, is we took our patients that have been through this process, inmate patients, and we looked at the return rates back in the prison versus the prison's standard return or recidivism rate. And we came in at about 25% of what the average is. Significant number, particularly when incarceration rates are running almost $100 a day now. So, and average length of stay in the county jail right now is 90 days. So you can see very quickly, if you can save half of your patients from returning, you've already paid for the program. Now the issue here, of course, is are funders or legislators reactive enough to understand this? Because they'd have to invest money in treatment that would indeed reduce prison costs and reduce healthcare costs. Reduce healthcare costs because people that are maintaining treatment, when they get released, they're not going to end up going into inpatient or detox programs that are higher costs. They're not going to hit the court and the probation departments at a higher rate. Of course, if they're not returning to prison and returning to the criminal lifestyle, that adds up to a lot of savings for the system. But you need really a comprehensive view of what addiction costs society. And you know, from a planning point of view, that's not an easy process to get funders to understand. You know, you talk about how do you save money and why is treatment good? Well, it's good for humanitarian reasons, it's good for families, it's good for people's health. But how does that translate into dollars and resources? And to get them to understand that, it's this whole area of really looking on a proactive basis of where you can save money and resources. And you know, if you're in a situation as you described to me, where you know you're in your home, you can't get treatment locally, you go away for treatment, somebody pays for that, you come back to an environment that's the same old environment without resources in place, relapse rates are extraordinarily high. They cost money. You know, to have continuous treatment, it saves money, and you know that's validated in many different societies.